and welcome to the DanniStories live stream. Happy Valentine's Day, everybody. And I am going to do some Plottr tonight. So, buckle your seat belts and get ready. And I'm going to change my capture so that you can see Plottr. If I can... Well, let me try that again. Let me try that again. Plottr, yes. Alrighty. And here we are. And you can see that I've got a whole bunch of projects here that I have been working on. Not Just Any Orphan is my NaNoWriMo. So let's get that set up in Plottr. Now, I am a pantser, and this is already written to first draft stage. So here is what I've got so far. And I've got 2 scenes on the first chapter. And I've been copying everything in. You can do that. I don't need to do that. All I need to do is have my manuscript up in Scrivener and work on it in Scrivener, and I can just do the outline in Plottr. That's how you're supposed to do it. So I'm going to change things here. So basically, I am trying to figure out my stuff. Now, I have been working on, I've got another file that I want to show you. I have a writing plan, which is based on the free template that you can get from Plottr. And I've been modifying it for my purposes. So let me show you what that looks like. And here's my word count goals. I just set this. I am not going to reach 50K in a month starting on the 14th. So no, but it's okay. The original template had the fellow's books who he was doing the template, and he had 80K for his word count goals, so I changed it to 50K. I've done Nano. I know I can do 50K in a month, so I don't have to worry about if I don't reach that goal, but I've got it there. And as far as stories that I am currently writing, I've got Miss Healing in Paradise, which I'm going to do some major plot revision on. Then I am editing 80th Scientist, which actually is up on Amazon, but I am revising it heavily, and I have made some plot changes, so yeah. And I have my status here that I did a free trial of Fictionary at Fictionary.com, and I learned some nice things from that. Fictionary.com also has tons of tutorials on plotting and what to look for when you're revising. I highly recommend them. I found them through the monthly NaNoWriMo meeting, which is coming up on the 4th Thursday of this month, and it goes year-round. So if you didn't do NaNoWriMo this month, I mean, not this month, but back in November, you can still get in on those monthly writer meetings, and they cover some neat topics, and it's just a way to be social with your fellow writers. And even if you haven't done NaNoWriMo in April, there is Camp NaNoWriMo, where you can again write a novel in a month, 50K words. So don't feel like, well, I wasn't there in November, I missed out. You can still get an account at nanowrimo.org. You can still participate in the writer socials, and there are several wonderful websites that are given during these writer socials, and there are all sorts of tips for revising your manuscript. So that's a good thing. It's a very good thing. So I will put those links up. Let me do that now. Let me get my Obsidian up, which is what I'm keeping notes in. And I've got my handy dandy link list. And I will share with you some handy writer links. So the first thing I'm talking about, and I should go and hey, Obese Squirrel, thank you for the follow. I appreciate that. That's wonderful. So if y'all have any questions for me as I go along, please feel free to put them in the chat, and I will check it and make sure that I don't miss anything. So let me go into and I've got all my wonderful free 3D model stuff from last Friday. So NaNoWriMo stands for National Novel Writing Month. And if you go over there and sign up for a free account, you can track your projects there. And if you're editing, you're not necessarily writing so many words a day, but you are editing, and you can track that. You just put down a number of words for the time you've spent. You can, it's nice to be able to track those projects, and the forums are full of helpful tips. And there's also the resource, What Now?, which is all about revision. There are links to bunches of helpful articles on revision. It's a gold mine of resources. So nanowrimo.org is where you go, and it's actually NaNoWriMo because Ri is for write. NaNoWriMo stands for National Novel Writing Month, and it's a wonderful way to make writer friends. So I encourage y'all to go over there. And if you're interested in getting Plottr, the software that I'm using today, this is awesome. I do not like subscription services. That is why I did not stay with Fictionary. I learned a lot, and I'm still going to be watching their videos, but I don't like subscription services. And I really can't afford $20 a month for Fictionary. The nice thing about Plottr is it is a software. You can either do the subscription stuff, or you can do like I did and just buy a license. And once you bought it, that's it. And I paid $99 for Plottr, and I am using it every day. So I really feel that it was a good investment. So I'm using the snowflake method, so I'll put that link down there. And that's how I found out about Plottr. Now, if you go to the snowflake method site, there is, if you buy his book on snowflake method from Amazon, you can get Snowflake Pro for free, which is, in my opinion, not as good as Plottr, but it's good. So I experimented with it for a good bit, but when I saw Plottr and looked at all the features it has, I really wanted it. So I do have Plottr and I love it, and I'm using it, and that's the main thing. So I will also put you a link for Plottr. And if you buy Randy Ingersman's book, you don't get a discount on Plottr. If you did NaNoWriMo, I had a discount and didn't know it, and I was one day late buying Plottr to get 20% off. So I was really not too happy about that. But I had to wait for money to come in, so there's that. When you are on a fixed income and you get a Social Security check, it doesn't come, I didn't have anything in January. So, yeah, I didn't know about Plottr in January, so, I had seen the coupon in my NaNoWriMo account, and I didn't pay attention to it. So, my mistake, but Plottr is well worth it. If you do the subscription, I think it's something like $20 a month, but I was paying attention more to the license, which is $99 for one machine. You can buy multiple licenses if you want to use it on more than one machine, or maybe you've got somebody in your household that they can use it on their machine. So yeah, you can buy extra licenses, and you don't have to do that up front. You can spread out your expense. So that's how you get Plottr. Now let's get into the nitty-gritty. So this is my writing plan, and the template that I got from Plottr, they have very wonderful tutorials. I mean, I just dove into my Plottr without really doing any tutorials. I thought, this is pretty simple, I'll figure it out. Well, I went back and I watched the tutorials. I watched them all in one sitting, and I learned a bunch. I learned a lot about what I could have been doing with this. And I found out about this template through doing the Plottr tutorials on their YouTube channel. So there's that. And so basically you have the project page, and you can do a lot with Plottr. Now these are not books, but the template that he had the planned books, short and long term, the rolling writing schedule, and the writing projection. So they're put in as books, but they're not books. This is your plan. So, and I've got my John Ray young adult science fiction up there. Now you go to the timeline on that, and here are my planned books for long and short terms. So here's my 80th series, and I've only gotten to book 4. Home is Not Home is the old series that I am shortening because, goodness gracious, Home is Not Home is like 350,000 words. It's a horse choker. It is a super novel. And super novels, you probably need to be J.R.R. Tolkien or somebody big name to get by with that. Or Harry Potter series, J.K. Rowling. I am not. So I am rewriting the whole series. I only have 7 up here, but if I'm going to add to this, I have 13 books in this series, so if I want to add it, I can go, boom, and priorities are up here, so you can say, all right, my first priority is to get the first book in all these series written and on Amazon. Most of these are not on Amazon yet, which is good because I don't have to rewrite them for, you know, my Rainbow series. I have 2 books and they are also over 500 pages apiece, so I am cutting them down as well. So this is, my work is cut out for me, really, but I'm in the process of editing 80 Scientists. So if you go to the next part is the rolling writing schedule. So I am editing not just any orphan, I am still editing 80 Scientists, so I'm really doing these at the same time so I can move that. And then Molly Queen of Rainbow will be my next priority when I get both of these done. I am also rewriting my novella Dying Hope, which is on Amazon. I've learned so much about plotting, I realized that, boy, I need to rewrite all of these. But, you know, for years, you know, high school English turned me off to plotting. I decided I'm a seat of the pants writer. I am not going to fool with plotting at all. I hated it so much. And the book that we were reading in my 8th grade English class was Great Expectations. Not my favorite of Dickens's work. If it had been Oliver Twist, I would have been right there, but no. Great Expectations was just not my cup of tea, and I did not enjoy picking apart another author's work. Well, I was a writer at that time, not an author. I had not sold anything, but, you know, really. And I just totally wasn't interested. I was 14. I was going through some stuff at the time. I really did not want to be bothered with plotting. So for years, I just was a seat of the pants writer and did not realize the benefits of plotting. Now, if you're a pantser, you can go back and do what I am doing now on any of my new stuff. Like I have a new story that I don't know what length it's going to be yet, so I'm going to add a timeline here for stories, because whatever length it will be, it will be. I'm going to add Mishealing in Paradise. So, if I can spell it right. Okay, so it's very easy to add things to this. I can use a template if I want to. I can edit this, and at this point I can add a template. So if I want to make, now I'm not at the scene level, so I'm not really wanting to do that. Now I made a template for Fictionary. I just copied the little things on the right hand side in Fictionary. If you watch my Fictionary video, you'll know what I'm talking about. But I just took all of those things and put them into a template for my own use. Now, since this is copyrighted stuff, I can't do that for y'all. I'm sorry. But, you know, if I want to add a template, I can, and this is what that looks like if you do that. Then you have things to fill in. And I can put a color on there, so I can make it a different color. maybe I probably already used that. I did. I'll make it a different color. All right. You can tell I really love purple and blue. Okay, so now I have these up here, and you can color them. I can put tags on them, so if I go into Mishealing in Paradise, I can go to tags, and I can say, all right, this is in progress. I am writing it. It has all this other stuff because that's from the template that I was doing this from. So I can go over to tags and I can take these things out. So if you're deleting tags, you can do that. Yeah, take all these out. Because these are not my books. These are the Plottr guy's books. So I'm going to take all this out. I might keep new. I don't write nonfiction, so no. Okay, so now I'm going to add 80 series. And then I've got other series. I've got the Molly series. I've got the Domino Effect series, which I am calling the Deb series because it's from her point of view. Deb's Greg's husband, so wife, but you know what I mean. And then I've got, so the 80th series is purple. The Molly series is blue. I'll make the Deb series green. Then I've got the Desi series. And I found out you can put little cutesy emojis in here with, if you're on a Windows machine, hit the Windows icon and the semicolon, and then you get emojis. So of course I need to do that. So I can go boink boink, and she has dark hair, so I can put her in like that. Isn't that cool? And I can add a color. How about a yellow? And then I've got, let's see, so that's my Isha series. Then I've got Doug and Jen, so, and she's also got long hair, so, okay, and I can make that orange. And then I've got my series with my other Elshar, and he's the brother of Jen's husband, so I'm going to call that. And I'm being, I guess, a feminist here. Not really, but this is just my label in my head. They're not going to be called this. The Molly series will be, but the others will not be called this. But it's just so I can keep track of them. So the other one is, let's see, it's going to be red. And because I'm using my rainbow theme. So Summa series. Okay, so, and there we go. Now I have my series, and I can go back to my timeline, and I can add other series if I want to. Because the tags, you can use these tags anywhere in your document, right? So you've got your project, I've got my rolling writing schedule. So my first priority are these 5 items. Then I can add other things. And so now I go back, and the writing projection is the screen that I was on at the beginning. And that's, you know, how many words I want to write in a month, how many projects I've got going on at the same time, and publishing. Of course, I publish on Amazon Kindle, so I don't really have an editor breathing down my neck or a committee that is waiting eagerly for my book. So I really like publishing independently, but there's nothing wrong with working with a publisher. It's just that that's not the way I would choose to do it, because I want total control over my stuff. I don't want to work by committee, but you know, whatever floats your boat. So this is just a neat way, and you can use this for all sorts of things, not just your writing. So Plottr has, you know, when I first bought it, I thought, oh boy, this will help me plot. Well, now I'm going, oh boy, what else can I use this software for? So, yeah, I mean, this is neat, and I'm going to save it. Now, the only thing that I don't like about this software is tags. You can't bring these tags into another project. So if I go in and open another project, then I can't put those tags in these other projects. So that is the downside. Maybe they'll add that feature. But what's nice about Plottr is if you go to the website, you can see exactly what they've got going on that they're planning to add to this software, and you can make requests. So I really like the way that they are doing their customer relations. So I love Plottr. I mean, they were reasonable when Randy Ingermanson contacted them and said, hey, your software looks really good. Would you consider adding my method in there? And they said, sure. So they've got a lot of different methods. So if you are not into, now let's see, make sure I've saved that because I forget. Now, so here is not just any orphan. If you, I lost my train of thought. Do you ever do that? I have ADD, so pardon. I just lost my train of thought. But, oh yeah, I was going to show you the different methods. Alright, so if I go into, now you've got the project view, and I've just got the one book in here, right? And I haven't decided my premise and theme yet. I'm gonna get to that. My timeline has very little on it at this point. But that's the timeline, so you can have a little summary of every single chapter on there. Then, alright, outline view. Now I can look at what I've got in each of these things. So, and I've got, I'm using the 3-act template, so I've got a little summary there already in the template of how to do this. So it's really neat. So there we go. And then notes. I've just got my generic giant lady, my 1-paragraph summary, my 1-sentence summary from the snowflake method. But say I wanted to do a different method with this. I can go to the timeline and I can use a template. Now I can do scene templates, or I can go to my chapter. Now you notice these little dots? That's what I've got under each chapter. These are scenes, and I can change the color of them to see what status they are. I've got my own little system for that. And I don't have a lot of notes on this. Here's my characters, and you can put a picture of your character. And if I go into this, now I haven't got anything on there yet, but look at all the templates. I mean, these come with it. And this is my template that I created with all sorts of things. And I've got some things specific to my writing, you know. Are they on a mission? Are they a trader and they've got cargo? Do they own their own ship? Do they like travel? Do they like porting? Some people hate porting in my stories. So a portal, you can open up the swirling portal and step into it, and you can just step into another room, it takes longer between planets, but you can port between star systems. It's really, so porting is a big part of my universe. So yeah, and the other templates, I can add birth order, I can add character bio, which has a lot of stuff. I can add cognitive distortions. Now this is cool. So it's got a little link to psychcentral.com, and you can read up on cognitive distortions. So let me change my thing so you can see it too. Go away. I don't want all these notices. Don't interrupt my live stream. Grr on you. Grr, grr. Okay, let me let you see what I'm looking at. So it takes you to this page where you can read up on cognitive distortions and have maybe something that affects your character. So it's really neat that they've got this built in. Let me go back. La la la, la la la. Okay. Alright, so we're back to Plottr. So you've got all these nice templates, and I usually add them all. Because if it's a main character, I want to, as I work through the snowflake method, you start with 1 sentence, and then you write the story from that character's point of view, just a brief paragraph thing. And then you do a character chart, which is a detailed, you know, think out what's your character like, because it might affect your plot. Characterization is a big part of story writing. So, you know, and So there's the Myers-Briggs type indicator. Now I haven't done this yet, but you know, you can figure out what type your character is, and there's a link to the website, um, which is Myers-Briggs.org. So it's the real deal. So you can look at the little chart they have there. They have links to the different personality types, and you can figure out, okay, my character would be this character type. Another thing that's very useful is the Enneagram. And again, there is a link to Enneagram Institute's site. So you can read up on the Enneagram types and say, okay, my character is the thinker, or my character is the diplomat, or you know, whichever type that your character would be. And now one thing I like to do is, you know, that I bought Typing Chimp. Well, Typing Chimp character has the Enneagram types, and it's very detailed, so you can pick what type your character is if they are the protagonist. You can pick it for a secondary character, and you can pick it for your villain. And you can go down and you can work out relationships and you get a little framework to work from. So I really use Typing Chimp a lot too. So it's another paid software. The character module is like $30, but I think it was 30 well spent because I get that framework. So I would love it if Plottr would add that feature to their software. So I can just copy and paste, basically. I can add that to my general notes on the character. So I can just copy the whole big thing that Typing Chimp gives you and just paste it in. And then I've got it. And you can use any picture for your character thumbnail. Now, if I want to choose another image, here are some that I've uploaded to this project. And you can pick them from the internet, you can pick them from your hard drive, wherever you're getting them from. And I'm going to change that one because I made a little close-up. So now I'm going to save it, and now it's bigger. So, you know, you've got these neat features in Plottr, which are cool. And then you've got a place for your places right here. So I have Alcires, where they go. So I've got my picture that I did in View of my Giant city. And they've got accessory buildings because Rainbow is a growing colony, so every, you know, it doesn't start out with all these. They are added in the subsequent books. But anyway, this picture just is there to give me an idea of where they are. And Atlanta Airport is Atlanta Spaceport in my books, so I need to get a picture of it and put in. But you've got the way to add these notes. You can choose an image. You can, you know, you can do all sorts of stuff. So say I want to put a picture with my apartment building. I can go upload files. I can look on my computer and I can go into, let's see, I've got lots of pictures. I just need to figure out where they are. They're there. Book covers, future, and I've got a folder for places. And one thing that I've done for my places recently is I've got biomes. So where did I put that so I can show you? I guess I put it under Earth because I have other planets that created, biomes. So I've got aquatic biomes, and I've got them all there, and I've got the terrestrial biomes, and I've got different animals that might be in these places. So temperate deciduous forest is where I live. So in it, there are amphibians like frogs, there's bears, there's birds, there's deer, and there's eastern North America, but there's also Central Europe and Northeast Asia. So these kinds of animals would be there too. So when I'm doing my world building, I can collect pictures for each of these, and I can build the climate of my world based on a biome here, maybe. So I just wanted to mention that because it's fun. I love this stuff. So I've been doing some setting up there, and I have some stock photos that I have collected, and I've also got photographs I've taken there, and what am I looking for? I forgot what I was well, there was the spaceport, the apartment building. So I've got and this is a mess. I haven't got it all organized yet. I work on it a little bit every day. But, okay, where is it? Where's my architecture folder? It's somewhere, because I moved some things out. Yeah. Alright, so apartment. So if I want an apartment building, I could, that's not the right apartment. Alright, so let's see. And that one's empty. Anybody else got the Windows 10 disappearing file problem? This really makes me mad. I don't like that. Well, I could just use this Pexels picture, and I think I will. So there's a picture of an apartment. So I can just pick that and put it there. And now I have the empty apartment that she goes in to find the orphan. So, and then I can do the same for these other things. So, it's very easy to drop in an image. So then I've got my tags, and I've got where these places are, and I haven't got a whole lot there, which I wish I did have, because I have another file that just look at how rich my tags are. I'm going to open. It's taking its own sweet time. Come on, open it. Are you going to open it? Well, let me figure out what's going on here. Why is it not doing this? Is that Control D? Okay, let me just try the link. Maybe you can't open files from there. Alright, let's try it from here. Alright. I don't know why I'm having technical troubles, but I'll just open up this. Now this is my story creation file that I made, so any new stories that I read in will have all of these tags. And look at there, you can put emotes in there, so I've got all sorts of stuff. And I just put my red-haired girl in, but I can put all sorts of emotes in there. So, but these are just tags anyway. And I've got 1st through 20th. I've got priorities from do it now to maybe. I've got my series. I've got scene and sequel, which if you're familiar with how to write your scenes, as far as Snowflake Method explains it really well. So I like the way he does it. So scene is going to be your action, and sequel is going to be the scene that follows it that has the reaction. So how Ingermanson, why do I have trouble with his name? Randy Ingermanson explains how to do scenes this way. So you have, in your scene, you have the action. In your sequel, you have the reaction. And every other scene is going to be an action scene. And every other scene is going to be a reaction scene. So the action scenes are going to be shorter, and the reaction scenes are going to be longer. If you write your book that way, it will be a page turner. So I really like Snowflake Method because he just spells it out. Now the other thing I've done, I've got all sorts of things for settings, and I've got my weather, my season of the year, what the weather's doing right now, holidays, disasters, transportation, and I've got my color scheme that I use for all these things. So I've got stage of completion, I've got priority, I've got, and I'm going to probably change my priorities to, something like in the other file. And I've got my settings. I have a thing called hubs, which is kind of like the internet of 13 galaxies. So a hub might have several star systems connected to it. So I've got that, and I've got my big trade networks, the Unified and the Alliance. I've got slaver networks, local trade networks, and then I've got my color scheme for locations. I do dark blue, red, violet for travel, and stuff like that. So I've got all sorts of stuff in here. So I've got just about every tag you can imagine, and then some. And now I am ready to do my stuff. But I've got the hero's journey archetypes. But what I really, really like is the way K.M. Weiland explains character arcs and archetypes. So I've got all of those in there. So down here, I've got starting with the maiden arc and down to the mage arc, and with all of the flat archetypes, the positive the positive archetypes are contained in the positive character arcs. Then you've got the flat arcs that these characters don't change during the course of the story, and the positive ones, of course, they get better. They start out kind of ordinary and they become heroes. And then you've got the other side of that coin, the shadow archetypes, the ones that are the negative archetypes. They start out bad and they get worse. So this I am still working out, but now I've got all of my tags, so I can just tag my characters. And I've got notes, so I copied a bunch of stuff from her website, and let me give you the link so that you can look at this too. And if you start on this page, you'll have it. K.M. Weiland does the helping writers, helping writers become authors.com. She has wonderful stuff in there. She explains plot structure so I can understand it. If she can do it so I can understand it, she can do it where anybody can understand it. I needed something that was dead simple because I do not get along with plot structure, but the way she explains it is wonderful. And she gives examples from the Marvel Universe. I love the Marvel movies. And from Harry Potter and a lot of the classic books that I've read. I mean, she's got examples across the board for all of these different character arcs, character types, and how to do your plots so that you've got a guideline, a framework. It's not rigid, but generally if you're doing 3-act structure, you're going to want to have Act 1 be the first quarter of your book. Act 2 is from 25% to 75%, and then Act 3 is the other 25%. So she's got points at which you want to try to have your inciting event and your climax and all these parts fall into place at a certain point in the book. And at first I was like, how in the world do you write something and have that happen at just that moment? But it can be done, and I'm learning to do it. So there you have it. So in Plottr, I've got all these notes to help me because I'm going to be looking at them a lot. And you can put pictures in there, and K.M. Weiland has all these wonderful posters. Now you can't really read that one because it's got a black background, but I need to change that background to white, and then it will look better. But she's got an overview of all the archetypes, and so like the maiden arc starts out with the child flat archetype. The shadow archetypes that the maiden, if she's not careful, can become the damsel or the vixen, or maybe she starts out as a damsel and she, becomes better, and then after her arc, then she's the lover. So the roles change, and then you've got the story type, and you've got the arc for each archetype, and all this. I mean, all this is on her website. So I've got it here so I can, and I've got links to it so I can easily go back to the website and read up more, because for most of this I didn't copy the whole thing. I just copied enough to cue me in. And I've got my very own color coding chart, and some of that didn't come through, but it's okay. So I'm using standard universal emotes. The problem comes in that some of these were proprietary, so the Unicode people did not code in emotes, pictures of emotes for everything. So I think these are probably the ones that they did have included, and then the OBJ ones are pictures that other people did, and they don't have the rights to it. So some softwares will plug those in and others won't. You may have noticed that these icons look very different from Facebook to Twitter to other social medias, because every social media company does their own pictures. So that's probably more than you ever want to know about Unicode, but there you go. So for my project, now I've got 80 a Scientist in here, but it's not 80 a Scientist. It is Snowflake Method. I've got, so far, this is not finished, but I went ahead and put percentages. I am working from a 20 chapter model. So I like to write my books so they're about 20 chapters. So I've got the percentages that I just put in a spreadsheet, and well, you can count them up from 5. I mean, that's not difficult to do. So I've got that. So I've got the Snowflake Method. The first disaster is going to happen at the 25% point. And this is not, I didn't put that in. All I added was 80 as experiment explodes. But this is all of the text below that line there that came with Plottr. So when you load the Snowflake Method template for your timeline, this is what you get. You get the first disaster, you get the second disaster, and you get the third disaster. There is more to it than that. There's the setup, and then there's the ending. So yeah, your climax is going to be the ending. So I'm just going to go ahead and put, well, it's not there, is it? Okay, I'm just going to put ending. So that's kind of the beginning of the ending there. And then at the end of chapter 20 will be the end. So you have the climax, and then you have all that. And at the beginning, in the first chapter, you've got the setup. So I'm going to add that in. So I'm still working on this, and then the 3-act structure is built in. The K.M. Weiland one is the one that I am working on from her wonderful articles. So I will have a worksheet that I can then use as a template, because I plan to use this on every one of my books and stories. So basically, the first act is going to be here. So I am going to make, I'm just arbitrarily deciding that I want the first act to be yellow. And you've probably seen this. So the first 5 chapters in a 20 chapter book, they're going to be first act. So I am coloring that. And then the second act starts with chapter 6 in a 20 chapter book. So I'm gonna do that. La 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 la, and so on. So you can see that you can customize this very, very much. I love being able to put color on things. I really respond to color, and it just makes editing easier to have the colors I want. And to be able to customize this like this is really helpful for me. So I'm going to go through and do that. I really love being able to lay this out this way. And of course, you know, my production novel may not turn out to be absolutely 75%. I've got the third disaster or the plot point 2. You know, it might not work out exactly that way, but this is my framework. This is what I am working towards. So I don't have to worry about that. But at this point, I am doing the plot, so I want to have it as close to these percentages as possible, definitely. And then as I write, I may need a little more wiggle room, and that's fine. So now I've got and I'm gonna color that red, and I'm gonna color this yellow, and by George, I have it. So now I've got a little more on my framework, and you can add other items under here with this little plus sign. So if you've got more than one scene in your chapter, you know, you can put another scene. Or in the case of the K.M. Weiland timeline, I'm going to want notes for the first act, so I can add whatever I want there. And you can add as many as you want. This will expand, and there are ways to collapse it. Right now my zoom is large. If I do it medium, then I can see more of it, and if I do small, I can see them as dots. Now you may recognize these dots from when we were in the outline view, and there they are. So you've got a way to see at a glance maybe how much work you've got to do or whatever. And I've got a little bit there. Now I'm going to add some notes. Now if you are wanting to make your own template, this is how you go about it. So I'm going to go back to the timeline and zoom it out. And I'm going to add to this K.M. Weiland timeline so you can see how this works. So let me pull it back there. So I'm going to go to my notes, and I'm going to look at, I don't have it, so let me teach you how to add a note. So I know where to look for my archetypes. And here is the website. So let me switch my camera over so you can see what I'm doing over here. So, and I am shamelessly copying because I am certainly not going to be doing this. I'm not putting the text of her articles in my book. I am merely borrowing them to implement them. So, and I love this storytelling lessons from Marvel. I love it. This lady is wonderful. She just explains things so well. And here's the character arcs. And here is scene structure and common writing mistakes. That's good too. But right now, story structure is where I want to be. And I'm going to look at starting with the first act. So I'm going to, and she has all this good stuff and plenty of examples. So, all right, so here's the main thing that I want to plug in. So I'm going to copy that, and I'm going to come over to Plottr, and let me change my camera so you can see what I'm doing over here. All right. So basically, I'm going to come over to my timeline, and I'm going to go right here to the beginning, and I'm going to put first act. All right, boom, there it is. Now I can do this. I can add the text. So now I can add this little thing. Add above line. Okay, because I can't remember what it said. I don't care. And so, all right, first quarter of the book builds the foundation of your entire story. So, and I'm also going to put where I got this. So I'm going to go over to the website and get the link and put there. So I know where I got all this good stuff. And this is the first act, and I'm using yellow for the first act. So now I can mouse over it, and I've got a guideline for what to do. So the in chapter 1, I'm going to want to do the hook first. So she has a whole little dealy thing on the hook. So what I can do is I can hit this, and I can say hook. And I can go in here, and I can go to the website and find where the hook was. And she's probably got a link to it. No, she hasn't. Oh, let's see here. Now the first 20 to 25% is the setup. So I'm going to I'm going to have to move things around. Okay. All right. So, first 20 to 25%. So I'm going to go back to Plottr, and I'm going to, now that's not the hook, this is on the other, so I'm going to go back to the timeline, and I'm going to, oh, wait, so this is the first 20 to 25%. So I'm going to move this here. How do I do that? Like that. Oh, not the hook. Oh, and I didn't want to do that either. That's okay. Now, this starts here. Alright. Okay, so I can put a little note here. Alright. So, now when I mouse over this, so I can see exactly what I'm talking about here. Now, the hook is the first 3 chapters, but basically the hook is going to be the first part. So I'm going to go look for, go back to story structure, and I'm going to go to part 2, the hook, and I'm going to just go down here and get that little thing there. So I'm gonna do that, and I'm gonna, oh, helps if I get the right thing. Alright. And if I want to read more about the hook, maybe I've forgotten totally what in the world this is all about, I can put my link to it so I know what page to go to find it. So, go down here, boom, there's my link. Okay, now, and this is still in the first act. Alright, so this is at the very beginning in the first chapter, so I'm going to leave that there at the first chapter. And now I can and plot point 1 is going to be there, so I probably want to have something about plot point 1. From Katie Weiland. So I'm gonna do that. Drop my cursor there, go over here, and look for plot point 1. So I'll go over here to story structure and copy first plot point. So here, and the first plot point should be the 25%. So I'm just gonna copy that. And I've got Katie Weiland holding my hand through plotting my book. All right. Above line. All right. And now I've got that. Okay. All right. And that is still in the first act. All right. Now, And now I'm beginning to flesh this out. Now I'll go get the next part. La 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 la. And that gives me structure. So, inciting event and key event. So, all right, where do they belong? So, the inciting event is going to be maybe here. So I'm going to just put inciting event and add some notes. And instead of trying to figure out something different to have above there every time, I'm gonna do it a little differently. I'm gonna go to here and just copy this. Then, well, all right. Now, so come on. Oh, come on. I don't know why this does that. If I start from the end, it works. If I try to start from the beginning, sometimes it doesn't. So, that's good. And I'll put that there. La, la, la. If I can get it to drop, there we go. And okay. And then I've got to put that. All right, I'm gonna, because I need key event. So that's going to come right after the inciting event. So I'm going to put that there, and I'm going to add the stuff later. So now I can take this ridiculous thing out and put this little tiny thing there. Okay, now, and same here. Oh, alright, that's already there. And that's fine, it's already there. Okay, so now I'm going to, and I'm just building this up, and she's got a lot more to say about the inciting event, so I'm going to go back and get those little points if they are there. Yeah, okay. says it needs to take place within the first quarter, probably either in the beginning chapter or at the first major plot point. So, alright, so where do I put this? Alright, so but it needs to come at one or the other, not at chapter 3. So, so it's not plot point 1. This stuff confuses me so bad. And the key event, there's a whole thing on that. So I will go get it. When I get done, I will have a little guide for this. So, she says often the inciting event is the hook. So I can just put it, and here's the key event, which comes right after the inciting event. So, alright, so I'm gonna say that the inciting event, I'll put it here, but it might come at the other part. So the key event is going to come right after it. So I'm going to just plop it there, and I can read the stuff and know that it might come at the 25% point. So anyway, and so the meat of the stuff, this is introductions. So yeah, so the hook might be the inciting event, or the plot point 1 might be the inciting event. So either way, I can read and find that. So now I've got it organized, and I've got all these tied together. So that is not part of it because it's part of this timeline. So anyway, yeah, so here we go. And yeah. So I don't know what to do with that. I moved these. So let's see. Around this says around the 15% mark, so that's why I've got it there. So that's fine. You know, different people will say different things about where these things should come. That's why I say that this is not a formula where you just plug your paragraphs in, because you have to think about it. You have to, you know, it's good to read all these different philosophies of structure and where things should come, but bottom line, you've got to make up your mind, okay, a lot of classics put it here, so I'm going to put it here. But here can vary a little bit. So, there's differences of opinion as to where's the best place, but in your story, you've got to judge where it's got to be for your characters, your plot. And I'm definitely going to take the advice of people who have studied great works, because surely there is more to that than I know. So basically, I'm just plugging things in right now for my template, and that way I will have my very own K.M. Weiland template with her advice right at my fingertips. And I'm not gonna make you go through it with me, but that is how you create a template. And once you have it done, then you can say, okay, I'm gonna create a template. So you can do that. Well, no, you can't. Plot lines, you don't have that, but you can go to the outline view and you can say, all right, here's my K.M. Weiland. I want to save this as a template. So how do you do that? All right, maybe not from this view. So if I go to my project and I want to save this as a template, let's see. I can create it from template, but if I want to save it as a template, no, I'm just saving it. No. I don't know how to save a timeline as a template. But if I start documents from this document, then I will have my main structures that I want, and I can just add my novel up here. So I can go and I can use a template for it, and I have these templates for my my series and stuff. So once I have saved these as templates, and I did save them as templates, I've got to go back and figure out how to do that. And there's all of these other templates. There's the 3-act structure, which I used right here. There is the snowflake method, which I used right here. And I'm going to add the K.M. Weiland as a template when I get there. So I will have it available under my templates. Then I can have them available in all of my projects, and I will be able to add them. So it's very nice to be able to do your own templates. So if there's a method that's not on there that's one of your favorite methods, then you can just add it in. So we've been through projects, timelines, the outline view, which is the same thing, but you've just got everything here that you can just skip around. So if I want to see chapter 18, or if I want to see chapter 1, then that's probably an easier way of adding these little notes than to just be in the timeline, but you can add it there too. So there you have it. Everything in the outline, in the timeline, ends up in the outline. And anything you add to the outline goes in the timeline. Isn't that cool? And then notes, notes, notes. You can just copy notes all over the place. And I've got my cover of my Kindle. And it's going to be so much better when I finish this edit and change this plot just a little bit. I am also trying to figure out the plot for the series, which is hard. Especially with how many books I've got. I have 13 books in this series, and probably I need to cut out, most of it. Maybe I should just try to boil it down to a trilogy, but it's so hard. It's so hard. Anyway, but that's my problem. Characters. So I have a few characters in here. This is my story creation template. These are recurring characters in a lot of my stories. So I want to have my characters that might be in other stories, especially if I'm writing a diplomatic service team story. Berto sends the teams out, so I want to have him in there. Pierrette is a great healer in the Rainbow Unwell Colony, so I want to have him available to pop in and do his healing. He's usually not around for long, but he comes into a lot of these stories. So Adia and Ree, not so much, but they do connect with the Rainbow series a lot, so I do need them available. So, and there are others. There's the two emperors. One gets injured and he ends up being First Galaxy Minister, and then we have the new emperor. So, yeah, I've got them. And there are probably going to be a few other recurring ones. So I would suggest that when you get your copy of Plottr, do this. Do a story creation one first before you go to the trouble of creating all these tags. Because mercy, if you can't transfer your tags, it's not going to be good for you. So I would hate to have to type all this in every single project. So yeah, I would do the story creation one first. I just jumped in with both feet and created like 5 files. I've got the 80th series. I've got Miss Healing in Paradise. How to create a writing schedule demo is the one I downloaded, so that is a template. But not just any orphan, and story creation I've got in there twice. Why? Why have I got it in there twice? It shouldn't be in there twice. It should be this one. Anyway, I may have saved it to the wrong directory. Good grief. I don't want that there. I do not want that there. Goodbye. I want you to be up in the stories. So I want stories. Where did I put my stories? Put it directly off my 3D directory. Alright, so I'm keeping everything in the Snowflake directory right now, so I'm going to save it as story creation. Okay, now I have it in only one place. You do have to watch. I wish that you could have a default directory. There may be a way to do that. I may not know about it yet. So, I'm going to close that. And so I've got my timelines, I've got my outline, I've got some notes, the general stuff, and I've got some notes on the enneagrams and places. There are some places that are in a lot of different books. So I've got my main map of the 13 galaxies, which is based on maps I've seen for our local group. But of course, we can't see directly behind our galaxy because it's not see-through. So there's a lot of space out there. There's probably a lot of galaxies that we aren't aware of. So we can see the ones, sort of. This is like what we see from the southern hemisphere. So, you can see the large and small Magellanic clouds from Australia, for example. I'm in North America. I can't see them at night. So also, dividing things by constellation is a bad idea because that wedge gets wider the further out into the universe you go. So we've got 88 constellations. Each one of them is a tiny slice of the sky, but it's a whole lot of territory. It's a cone. So we're at the point of the cone, but as you go out, so there's that. Locations. And there's my tags. So now I have this, and what I could do is go into one of my other projects, like Not Just Any Orphan, before I get too far with it, and I could export it, and I could maybe re-import it. I haven't got all that much in here, so I could just, I haven't got all the chapters in, and I have a lot more chapters than this. So really, I don't have all that much. So I'm going to export it and recreate the file. So I'm going to save it. I'm going to export into Word. And I'm just going to save it as Not Just Any Orphan. And now I can delete the Plottr file and start over with my new story creation. So, or I could copy some of this stuff over and save it as Not Just Any Orphan. I could do that too. So if I went into Outline View, and I'm not going to be copying every scene over, I am just going to copy the names. So if I go over here, I'm going to go to the timeline, and I'm going to add another one. So I'm going to use a template, and I'm gonna I could try the 7-point plot structure and see what that's all about. So let's bring that in, and then we will make it match the 20 chapters. because I've got 20 chapters by default. So plot turn 1 is going to be at the end of Act 1. So basically I'm going to take these. I'm going to take the resolution down. Come on. All the way. Come on. Move down. Move down. Okay. Now just put that there. Now, plot turn 2 is going to be at the 75% mark. So I'll take it down here. And that is the 75% mark. Now, pinch 2 is around the 60% mark. So I will bring it here. About 60%. Okay. This gives me some other things. The midpoint is at 50% pretty much. So yeah. So the midpoint is going to be the same. Pinch 1 is going to be around 40%. Okay, plot turn 1 should take your story to the 25% mark. Ooh, okay, well, I guess I'll put it at the 25%. And the hook is the beginning. So now I have another one in here, and I'm going to color it. Color that orange. So basically I'm just adding another timeline in. Alright. That's orange. Alright, so this is in the first act. Alright. And that's in the first act. So there we go. Now I have several things I can look at that give me a little extra. And if I want to really get complicated, I can pick, wait a minute, hold it, use template. Alright. What if I want to do, what's one of these that's really, take off your pants? Really? Ugh. Okay, that's got beads. That's for Mysteries 6 stage. And it's got a lot of beads. So romance. I don't write romance. But it's nice that all these genres are included. I wish there was a science fiction one specifically. But, there's all sorts of stuff. I was thinking about something with a lot of beats, but I don't see this Freytag's pyramid. Denouement? That must be French. Foolproof pulp formula. Fichtean curve. 8 sequences method. That looks interesting. But there's not really 12-step mystery formula or 24-chapter outline. That is really detailed and it has a lot of beats. So I could put that in, and that's more of a 4-act structure. So, but that's in 24 chapters and 34 scene cards. So that looks pretty cool, but I'm gonna stick to what I've got. So basically I'm going to plug my novel in. First I am going to save this because I've got my 7-point plot structure in there as well, and it gives me a pinch 1 and a pinch 2 as well, which I think I can use that. So now I am ready. Make sure that's saved as story creation. Now here's where I'm gonna put in not just any orphan. All right, and so chapter 1 has well, that wasn't good. I'm doing Control A and backspace to delete all that. Now I can go over here and I can get Creepy Elshar Neighbor, which is the first scene, and I can put it here. So I can do that. Why didn't it copy it? It didn't copy it. That is not what I want there. All right. I don't want to move it. Okay. I am left clicking 3 times to select my whole title. I am Control C to copy and Control V to paste, and there it is. So there's my first scene. Then I'll come over here, and the second scene is the Elshar breakup, so I will click that to make it editable. Get that. And come over here and add the next scene. Okay, now, and then I'll come over here and chapter 2, the first disaster. So, all right, this is the first disaster. So I'm going to go over here And it's probably coming way too early, but I've got that. So it's what I have. I'm going to be editing this anyway. Now, alrighty. Oh, that's why. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Now, next. And this is chapter, or is this in the same chapter? Yeah, this is in the same chapter, so I've got another tiny little scene there. And I put it in the wrong place, but that's okay. I can drag it over here. Very forgiving. So, oh, actually, I think that's the next chapter, is it? This is chapter 2. And then chapter 3 is where they actually go to the ship. So, chapter 3 is here. And that's how you do it. And I haven't got, now chapter 8 is where I've got this. So, chapter 8. And I probably got that too early, but definitely have it to, chapter 8 is not where it's supposed to be. Okay, and so I'm going to have to do a lot on this. Okay, chapter 9, and again, this is wrong timing for this, but this is where it is right now because I wrote it by the seat of my pants. So yeah, I'm going to have to work on this timing here and figure out, so, but yeah, it's okay. And this is just the ending. So the ending is down here. So basically, oh, no, that's not what I want. I don't want another timeline. No. It's got to be on here. Did I just put a bunch of stuff on another timeline? Oh, wait a minute. Oh. That's bad. Where's my timeline? boy. And I can't get it back. Okay, this is bad. Oh, there it is. Okay, it's fine. It's fine. Yeah, it's fine. So I just need to, chapter 21. Did I add another chapter in here? Now notice it will renumber. Yeah, so here we go. Alright. Why is it doing that? Quit that. The marching file error. It's a Windows thing. Okay, I'm gonna do this and put that there. That is the ending. So, alright. And that's all I had in there. So it's not that big a deal. I do need to copy the characters over. So, and I do need to go ahead and save as. Not just any orphan. Yes, I do. Okay, now. Alright, characters. And they are there. Good. Okay, so the outline, the timeline. It didn't do. It didn't do. Alright, let's try this again. Alright, characters. I need to copy the character. Over here. Choose the image. And of course the image is not in here. So I'm going to have to copy it in there. So upload files. Okay, I had it in book covers. Not there. And these should go there. Yes, yes, do it. Yes, do it. Okay. Now, that's not going to help me with this. Okay. So where's my folder? This is I'm constantly losing files. This is not the Windows disappearing file thing. This is absent-minded Granny moving folders. But anyway, we've looked at Plottr, so I don't want to bore you to tears. It's 10:30. I'm going to end the live stream at this point, but I'm very happy that y'all came to me tonight. And happy Valentine's Day, Ace. Thank you. And I hope y'all have a great Valentine's Day, and very, very happy to see y'all. And if you have any questions, I will, if you want to pop a question in real quick, I'll wait. If you want to see me on my Discord, I'm going to go there after I end the live stream, after I make sure it's exported to YouTube. But if you have any questions and want to talk to me, I'm available. And I'd love to hear from y'all about your writing projects and what software you're using and how do you visualize your characters. Do you just look for pictures on the internet? Do you make models in Daz Studio? I would love to hear from y'all and hear what y'all are doing. In the meantime, have a great Valentine's Day, and thank you for joining me tonight. And I will be here Wednesday with another look at something to do with writing. And if you have an idea for what you would like to see me do next Wednesday, please put it in the chat. I'll be very happy to try to do something that y'all want me to do. So until then, have a great Valentine's Day, and y'all take care. This is Dennis Cole. You can call me Granny. Saying good night. See ya. Let me do that. Good night.